Hey, good day. This is Marky's Chronicle. This interview is an interview that Chris Muslis had with Alexander. Enjoy.
So today we have the other side, the side of the law, and a very popular man here in Trinidad. Maybe you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, well, everybody should know you by now. My name is Roger D. Alexander.
Yeah.
Can't tell you what the D for though.
Yes.
However, still a serving police officer.
Yes.
I'm on some vacation leave. Yeah. In the Trinidad Tobago Police Service.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I know there's no doubt that people of Trinidad know who you are, but I have a global reach, so people around the world. But you look like you could almost be a cartoon character for the police. Like you look like that superhuman
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
No. I'm as real as it gets.
Yeah. And how long have you been a police officer?
For the past 31 years.
It's a long time. What brought you into policing?
Just I was impressed with the ability to do an investigation where you could leave any part of Trinidad and Tobago and end up in any part of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
And solve a crime. You know, it's like something happened in Port of Spain, you could go to Point Fortin and arrest us. I find that very intriguing.
Yes.
That was one of the things that made me go on that particular.
You grew up here as well?
Yeah, for a short time, and then I went to the come back again.
Yes. You went to where?
Outside.
Outside Trinidad.
Yeah.
Okay.
For a little while, and I came back again.
What brought you back?
Serve your country, you know. You probably was outside doing things that you think you could have done here.
Right.
And that was one of the things.
Now, there must be thousands and thousands and thousands of law enforcement in Trinidad. How are you the most popular man?
I don't know, though. It depends.
Well, you must know you're the most popular man.
I don't know. Probably
Yes.
how I do my thing, I don't know. Basically, it's I just do my job, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is this more than a job for you? You got to be
Sometimes.
passionate about
Yeah,
it. Right?
sometimes it's plenty.
Job is a real tough job, yeah, right?
Yeah, because when you see some of the things that you have to relate to, then you know, and you know, you go somewhere and you see a man headless, and then you think about that man having a family or something, you know, these things will affect you if you're not at that stage where you're emotionally, mentally, and spiritually inclined.
Right.
Well, obviously.
After 31 years, is it now easier to sort of forget those problems when you get home?
Well, as the victims list becomes more and more every day, because if you look at it, there are more persons now dying than before.
Yes.
We are averaging always between 300 and something, 500 murders a year. So that's 500 victims. Nobody was alone, so he would have family also. So he or she would have family. And then we take it to a different level now. I saw that you're doing some work with the gangs.
Yes.
Whether people like it or not, the reality is the gangs are here.
Yes.
And some persons feel that you could just get up in the morning and just get rid of them just like that. It don't work like that. You see?
Yes.
Law enforcement, together with the authorities, put certain mechanisms in place to treat the gangs. If it's working, that's for a different time. But we must have implementations of laws to control behaviors. And persons are asking now, well, what are we doing or what the police is doing to treat with it? And some persons say, well, nothing. But then we are just one part of that security apparatus, the justice system, if you want to call it that. There are other places, that courts, attorney at law, and all these places. But at the end of the day, we could just do so much. What I'm seeing down the road is I'm seeing the existence of Haiti from a distance.
Yes.
If we're not careful.
I've been to Haiti, and I've seen what has happened in Haiti. I think there's a big distance between where you are right now, but you're heading in that direction.
That's what I'm saying.
I've seen the common denominator.
Yeah, down the road, we see in Haiti, in the making. Some people ignoring it, but that's the reality. Now, I saw that they talked to the guys and the reason for the camp. Yeah, the reason for the camp.
Yes.
That number of variables there.
Yes.
Because some of them will say, no, Alexander, we ain't getting anything to do. some of these guys are educated and they know that, right? They have subjects, they have different things, but they're not getting a chance to work. Someone not getting a chance to work, you have a tendency to want to take something away from another man who he thinks have.
Right.
So this is where we are. What do we do now? We have to find a solution. Every time you find a solution to something and persons change, they get rid of it.
Right.
Right now we treat him with the cause. We never treated the solution. All right. So right now the gangs out here and they're large in numbers now because it's 6 and 7 and we're going up and up and up. And they are warring each other. Talking about guys who used to, just like you and I talking here, we went to school together.
Yes.
We eating from the same plate sometimes and all that. And now, because of a situation, we're killing out each other.
Yeah.
Makes no logical sense. But we, law enforcement, let me talk from that down. Law enforcement is really the wall that separates the criminal element from the law-abiding citizen. Now, when we talk gang, we could say gangs. There's a secret gang. What we are focusing on is the criminal gangs.
Right.
So once you into the 6 or the 7 and you're going into this criminal arrangement, then we must focus on you. Because you are the problem in society now.
Right.
What do you feed a man that doesn't even understand how to fish? He sit down on his computer all day. He could fish on his computer.
Right. But couldn't feed himself.
But he can't feed himself.
Yes.
So, and then when you give them opportunities, they tell you, like, so if you teach, if you're a welder,
yes,
and you brought me to weld, to teach how to weld, first, much again, I did partner. See, it's not no longer within here that the process is learning. So you learn and earn down the road.
Right.
This is what we are.
You know what I found? I've been doing this, like, I'm not specifically a journalist for gangs, but I've been in gangs, and even like more terrorist type organizations before. I'll tell you what I found in Trinidad different than everywhere else. A lot of these guys, to me, let me give just a quick ratio off the top of my head. I'd say 50% of the people I meet, even with guns, are very innocent people. They're not so hardened criminals that they cannot change. They could change. Now, I've met a few crazy people that just talk crazy, they act crazy, but for the most part, they're somewhat of a front. They front like they're this very strong, yeah, but in fact, they're like little children crying inside that they're crying for help. I haven't found that anywhere else. Like in the U.S., it's different.
It's different.
But here, I feel like I don't have the solution for change, but I think a lot of these people, if given the proper opportunity and the proper mentorship, yeah, they're not too far gone.
But one of the greatest problems here is influence, right? You came, I mean, you're a big man, you have sense.
Yeah.
Even if you're young and you're making mistakes, there are times in your life when you pull back. So you know what's going on here? And then start to ask yourself questions and see what another man is telling you to do, if that's what you want to do. Now, we have a problem in Trinidad where gangs now, when they get in, you're guilty by association or you're guilty by location.
Mm-hmm.
Association means that, you know this man linking
I know, with him, yeah.
Right. And then when you location now, let's say I do a shooting in Port of Spain, and they know will I just be there. They come and they do a shooting back there in retaliation, but nobody in connection with the shooting down Port of Spain was there. So the people who lived there was affected. This is what we do.
Yeah.
And these guys now, in the real world, the gangs are concerned. You don't kill women and children, my boy.
I've seen that a lot here.
That's a no-no.
Yes.
Nobody can tell you that. There's certain things you don't do when you're involved in a real gang.
Yes.
You don't interfere with the taxi man. Because that's his means of income, bro.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Law enforcement, that's the job. Because it's a cat and mouse. You do your wrong thing and try to find you. That's how it is.
Yes.
You're killing children and mothers and
there's no rules. There's no rules.
All the easy.
Yeah.
So then you want a society to be sympathetic to you. But how can we be when you're killing innocent people?
What about the people? Look, people say I'm naive when I interview these people. I'm in their territory. I can ask questions whether I believe what they say or not. I have to be respectful, right? But the common denominator I'm seeing is, well, we're on defense, we're not on offense. If I don't have this gun, somebody will come in and maybe kill these people.
Right.
The defense. What are your thoughts? Is there any other way to go about this rather than these people having guns to protect what they believe? They believe that they're soldiers, appointed soldiers for their community.
Now, if you have a good national security apparatus where you have a good relationship with law enforcement, the neighborhood and law enforcement working together, hardly likely somebody could penetrate and come and do them kind of things. But when you leave out law enforcement, and the reason for leaving out law enforcement is because when you're not guarding your zone, you're out there doing things, home invasion, stealing a car, shooting, murders. So then you do not really want law enforcement to be around that because you're going to get catch.
Right.
So what they do, they try to separate themselves from law enforcement, paint a picture that law enforcement is so wrong in their approach while they're doing what they want.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah. I'm also hearing from the inside out, they'll give me a ratio of 1 out of every 5 law enforcement is working with them. They're saying there's a lot of corruption inside. They say that they do work with the police, but they're chosen police.
All right. There are a lot of police officers who it's persons would make that kind of allegation against. But let me ask you this. You say you were outside watching different gangs. If I'm a police officer and a gang is inside there and I want to get information as to what is really going on inside it,
yes,
who do I talk to? I have to go in. So if 2 persons pass and say, let's say you're the leader of the younger gang or something, and they see you and I talking together, that's a big thing. Hey boy, Alexander talking to this man, boy, like he and them good at, that's that kind of thing. But in the real world, you can't get no information from the priest. You can't get information from anybody. You have to go to the source to get information. Now, you mightn't tell me things about you, but you'll certainly tell me things about your competition, that's all.
Right.
It's a win-win situation, you know.
I've actually heard the opposite as well, as where people told me, like, I had drugs or I had guns. Police broke into my house, and the only one that knew that I had that were my closest friends. So I'm getting set up 100% by somebody that's in my, what they call family. Nobody wants to admit they're in a gang.
Right. Well, it's not set up, eh?
Right.
Some people don't want that type of activity in their domain. Because if I bring drugs and guns here, there are persons around who will want to come and try to take it away from me.
Right.
So then, if you're my daddy, and my mom and everybody here, and you behaving like that, any chances are they're going to come, and somebody's going to get hurt here.
Right.
So if some relatives see, they'll say, you know what, I ain't with this now. This will cause us problems, this causes us pain, and as a result of that, they might talk to the law enforcement. Did it?
Yeah.
It's a hard and harsh reality that these gangs are here. And their behavior must be enforced. And when I say enforced, law enforcement must get involved and enforce a certain type of behavior from them. But the law enforcement must also be supported by the legislation available. Now, here the third thing I observe here for my own. We have a tendency to choose a lot of things what is happening in the United States and compare it. But we don't, the laws here, it's English laws.
Right.
So then you have English laws, but you want to operate an American system. What does that do?
Right.
It never does. Because at the end of the day, if something happens here, we have to go to the Privy Council to know whether we are right or wrong. See?
Right.
So I'm also saying this. If we decide to take a strong arm approach against these gangs, it must be a holistic approach coming from every sector of the community, every corner of Trinidad and Tobago, inclusive of those who in authority. And it mustn't be seen like when law enforcement doing the job, we are posing persons in a particular community because somebody in the community will benefit from their finger in the not too distant future.
Right.
That's it?
Yeah. In my country of Canada, I think a lot of the crime has to do with the fact that the punishment, especially on the first offense, is very lenient. So if you get caught stealing in a car, you're out tomorrow. If you're getting an assault with a weapon, you might spend a day or two. What about the punishments here based on the crimes committed? Are they harsh enough?
There's no punishment here per se, though.
Right.
Because the length of time a matter takes here to be completed. If I arrest you today, it's likely. Well, the system trying to change it somewhat. But this matter could go on for the next 14 years.
So if I got caught with a gun just here on the street for no reason, unlicensed gun,
right?
I didn't shoot it. What the process? How long am I going to wait before I see a trial or a judge?
Well, obviously, I'll take you before a master of the court, and then you might say not guilty. Bail is set. Right. You might be outside by this evening.
Okay.
And then I might hold you again.
Yeah.
And you might be outside by the next evening.
But let's say I'm convicted of having this concealed weapon.
If you are convicted.
Yes.
Right? Chances are you might get 2 years for the gun and a year for the ammunition.
Okay. So why, look at this, I'm putting myself on the spot in this wind. So why, if I watch a Trinidad song, or if I watch social media, I follow a lot of these guys on social media, guns are everywhere, including myself. When I go to a neighborhood, I never in my life have asked, go get the guns, let me show you. Why do you think people are willing to risk 2-4+ years just to be on video? And if it's not my video, it's a Trinidad song or it's on social media. Is there a benefit for them showing me or cameras guns? Do you think it's them flexing their muscle to show the opposing?
It's the other side.
Crew?
It's all about the other side.
Yeah. So flexing. They want to be like, I'm bigger than you.
It's muscle.
Yeah.
Right? It's muscle, and it's supposed to drive some kind of fear.
Right.
Into the other person, especially they only have pistol. And you've seen some men talking like this.
Yeah.
To AR-15 or to AK-47. So like,
if I was in their shoes and somebody came to my neighborhood with a camera, I'm not showing them what I have. Never. And I don't think people realize on my camera. Yeah. So there's an instance where one of the videos came out with guns, and I said, put a mask on. They said, no, we're in war, we don't wear a mask. I said, I'm not going to film unless you wear a mask. They said, no, film us. Yeah. That confident. Yeah. And in my mind, I'm thinking the same thing you're just saying. I'm like 2 years, 4 years. Yeah. But I don't understand.
I know that 2 years, 4 years, right?
And it could be much, much more, I'm sure.
Yeah, but the 2 years, 4 years.
Yes.
A man might get 9 months here for a year.
Yes.
Is it?
But are you still willing to, well, they're obviously willing to risk.
Yeah, they'll risk it.
Yeah.
As they will tell you in the streets, now, if you're a police officer behind the desk in Trinidad and Tobago, you're lost. The streets will swallow you. You have to be a street cop to understand what's going on here. And I'll tell you this. They would say in the streets, the gangs will tell you, the greater the risk,
greater the reward.
The greater the reward.
Yes.
And that's what they prepare to do. How a man could have 2 men go on and do a robbery today and die at the hands of law enforcement in an exchange of gunfire. And the very next day, 2 men going to do the same thing?
Yeah.
It had no impact on them.
Yes.
Now, there's another situation existing here where we're taking these drugs, taking some tablets and things now with all kind of meth thing in it. So these guys are not the same. You really have a robot.
Right.
With a gun. Robocop kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you have a robot with a gun. And these fellas thinking, how a man could come and tell you to go and do something, and no time during that time, you think for a moment and say,
yeah.
Not me, no?
Yes.
He can't say no when he would have already exposed himself. Yeah. To the gang leaders.
Yeah.
You can't say no again. You're inside now. So all I have to do if I say, gang leader, I get you, I get some gun and I boost up your ego. I say, hey, best shooter I have between me and you, you're a real good boy, dog boy.
Yeah.
You're real good. So they see you're going in some way, and that camera says, okay, you want to display your actions.
They don't care.
Yeah.
But even in the communities, there's surveillance everywhere. They don't care.
They don't care. So you display your actions to get that kind of ratings now. So you get promotion.
Yeah. But do you have enough law enforcement to actually, like, I see cameras everywhere, every neighborhood. Are there enough people watching these cameras, or like do cases actually start with these cameras, or it's just there to say that it's there?
We're doing some work presently with respect to that system. 2 years ago, I said, it's not enough. Law enforcement, too, we have some shortcomings. But at the end of the day, if the community get together, everybody is given a chance to police, then the numbers we have as police officers, the civilian population is an addition.
Yes.
So it's not like we operate with 2 men or 3 men. We have a community,
right,
and not just 2 officers.
Yes. I think this is where I'm surprised. A lot of the places I go to when I show gang activity, police are really upset at me for sort of focusing on the errors they're making. But here, it's every officer that I've seen has come up to me and shake my hand and actually shared stories with me about how difficult their job is.
Very difficult.
It's not easy. No. You know, one gentleman, I'm going to share this story. I was at the gas station. He saw my hand out the window and saw it was me, fully dressed up, big gun. He's like, Chris, I live in one of the neighborhoods that you went into. And he said, I see crime in my community all the time. I was born and grew up there. I know some of the criminals. They know I'm an officer. So I know my boundaries when I'm in my community. Unless I see a major crime, I'm not being involved, period. I'm turning my head and I'm driving away. And I've seen that when I'm in the neighborhood, that the respect for the police, the real gangsters have, they don't care. They'll walk around with a gun.
And there are some police officers who, their mere existence is enough to influence the criminal element not to behave like that when they're there. But if there are others who turn a blind eye, what causes an officer to turn a blind eye?
The safety and concern for himself and his own family's well-being, right, knowing where he lives.
It could be that.
Yes.
It could be that the officer is not given the opportunity to protect himself after his tour of duty.
Yes.
Is it the salary they're looking at and saying, you know what, boy, I'm not doing all of that for this?
Right.
There are a number of issues. You have to like this to be in it.
Yes.
If you don't like this, actually have a love for it, then you're wasting your time.
Shouldn't be just a job.
It shouldn't be just a job.
Right.
And it shouldn't be treated just like a job. And the officers who put in their lives on the line every day shouldn't just be treated as a job.
But speaking from the other side, when an officer signs up and says, I want to be a police officer, right, does he or she really know what is involved until she's actually on the ground and witnessing the things that you must witness on an everyday basis?
Yeah. Well, remember, some persons looking for employment, while some persons looking for a career.
Right.
They're 2 different things, right?
Completely.
I'm looking for a career, you're looking for employment. So when these 2 sometimes clash, that's how the officers are separated from each other.
Right.
Because take for instance, look, you and I here. Let's say we was moving in a vehicle.
Yes.
And you use my driver and I am the observer. But I on TikTok here. Because I want to
like TikTok, yeah. Take a picture, yeah.
Yeah. And a man running up a building with a gun in your hand.
Yeah.
Or they just rob a car. But you be here and waiting for the radio. You're not making no observations anymore. You're waiting until the radio say something happens and then to respond. You have to be proactive.
Yes.
And not reactive all the time.
Yes.
See?
But it takes a special human being to not only decide to be a police officer, but also decide to stay on the right side, yeah, of the law.
Yeah, you could be.
There must be temptations for people that they can't handle. I know firsthand. You know, I've been in these areas where somebody will point and say, that's a police officer sitting and eating dinner with us, which you would never openly do that.
Yeah. No. Any section of the community you come on,
yes,
you come from, whether it's a politician, whether you're a garbage man, whether it's
a priest,
man,
anybody.
Once you present yourself in a particular way, you would be, in fact, chosen. Not that you're vulnerable, you're chosen. And the vulnerability would come according to you, how you respond.
Right.
So if you respond to it and say, well, yeah, I'll give you a 40 to come and interrupt a scene here. And you can say, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, me. That's it. Because when I give you the first time, the second time is not, there's no long sit at discussion and frightened to approach you and then because I'm sure you're going to take it. I just had to call you.
Yes. Yes. What about a solution? We've talked about a little bit of what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Who's responsible for a solution? And what what role does the government play? Because the government has been the blame of every single video that I've created. It's never law enforcement. It's always the government is not helping us with jobs or opportunity. So who is the first person that should be to blame for all of the problems that are happening right now? Me personally, I'll give you my personal opinion is family. Like, is the first step. You know, mom and dad.
Every man is responsible for his own actions and not be guided by the actions of other persons to pursue me. Take, for instance, if you're here and there's a protest here, not because I live in here, I must get involved in that. It must make logical sense to me why I want to protest.
Yes.
You see? So if we're looking for the blame game, everybody have a part to play in that blame game. Every single one of them. All the names they just called.
Yeah.
Inclusive of the family. Because you know, long ago, the family had a foundation, a structure, which is to bring up its young men and women. Now there's no foundation, there's no structure. So then what we bringing up? You know what we do? We have since passed it on to whoever could speak the most in the street. So your daughter walking on here, and I can real talk, she's nice.
Yeah.
Your son walking on there, I hit him at $20 to go to school today. I hit him at $20 tomorrow. I said, dog, I hit him 100. I hit him 2. I go on and a gold chain, a car, and some women, and it's done.
Yeah. It's not hard to attract if somebody has no money.
How do we compare? What is there attractive for us to lean towards that is better than the gun, the car, the gold, the woman, the money?
Right. Well, followers are going to eat that up. That's what they want in life, right?
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be the next Rick Ross. Everybody wants to be this one. Everybody wants to be that one. Because they don't understand the life.
Right. The day-to-day.
Right.
And how sad life is.
Long ago when you go to school, sorry, and you get trouble in school, and your mother call your parents. You get some licks in school, some thump, some clout. Now you know what has happened? If somebody report my son in school, I come in for the teacher. Miss, where you got my son for? Where? These kind of things. There's never dialogue before action.
Right.
There's always action.
And you think that plays a role?
Let me tell you this. Trinidad music, right? Trinidad, Tobago, easy, whatever you want to call that whole thing. We grew up in music, bro. Not because a man sing a jail song or a gun song or shit, something that it's enough to influence me to do that.
Right.
Otherwise, if I listen to Eminem, I'm going to kill my wife. If I had.
Right.
That's all. So then, if they talk about music influencing us, we grew up in the era of music and talk about gun. I don't know, no kind of thing. Gun song out right a long time.
Yeah.
What did they do for us? Make you intelligent enough to say, you know what?
I'm not going that route.
I want a gun, you know. But as a police,
Yeah.
as a soldier, to defend my nation.
Yeah. But what about, I agree with you 100%. What about how Trinidad in particular, I'm not saying every artist by any means, there's a lot of conscious music as well, but there are some Trinidad artists that use the video almost like propaganda to spread hate towards their opposition. That definitely causes violence and retaliation.
And we should have learned that for those who know about Tupac and Biggie Small and them, we should have seen that coming. And and the so-called gang leaders, those are persons who most of them controlling most of these artists. Hey, his words could change the whole thing. So instead of calling out a man, hey, this is man, let's put in something nice, put in something different. You can sing a gun song, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody does sing that. The youths, you see, when I told you earlier, if you're office police, the streets will swallow you, yeah? The youths and them listen to rhythm and bad boy song, whether it's woman or man. So in order for the youths and them to make their way up now, that's what they have to sing. Right. It's just like in the States right now, you know that to them, long time love song, R&B thing is the best thing now. You could hardly even make something over that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So The world evolved. The culture changing. There's some of us who don't want to understand that culture change. When culture change, the laws must change. You see?
Yeah.
Because we no longer, we still have offenses on our books for flying kite and all kind of things. But I since you the Trinidad, you see flying kite yet?
In Canada as well.
You see?
Yeah.
Right. So if these things no longer exist, but they're still doing that.
Yeah.
But then we're looking now for laws how to treat with behaviors of needs to come first and it needs to come fast.
Can things change?
Yeah, it could change.
It's gonna take time.
It take time. It'll take everybody getting involved. And everybody, I mean.
Alexander, I think it could change, but as you were saying, it's legislation. We need to put legislation in place and get rid of the old laws that on the books that are not doing anything, and constitutional reform, as the late Prime Minister Mr. Bas Depande said, change have to come.
What are we doing? You're saying that you love Trinidad and you want to try to grow up here, but then when you kill persons and you kill persons and you kill persons and then the outer world watching and saying, why? Trinidad is the worst place in the world. Who's going to come here? Who would want to invest here?
Yeah.
So who? So you ain't causing a problem for yourself?
Yeah.
Thought about that for a minute.
But the reality is crime is happening. The gangs are there and things are happening. Something have to be done by.
I've spoken to one man very closely, like I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Seemed like a complete gentleman. He said, sir, yes, sir. And I looked at him off camera and I said, you're about 25. You can change your life. And he looked at me with a grin. He said, I've killed human beings. I'm not changing my life. He said, if my life ends tomorrow, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And it's the saddest thing in the world. Like, you always hope that people can change. Things can change. But there's some people that just will not.
But let me tell you the reality of this. Some people has gone too far. They're too deep into it now to change, right? And what we have seen over the years is that some people try to change. And that's when they become vulnerable to the other side.
Right.
So a man decided, you know what, today I done, all right, everything good, going to church, and then he jumped in the church and he go in, and then gone.
Yeah.
Because a man remember what he done to him.
Or somebody he knew. Yeah.
Police officers in Trinidad, they just need to up the game. But the support must come from the laws that they give them. Yeah. And that motivation must come from within the corridors of the police service. Yeah?
Yeah.
And when that starts to happen, you might see a difference, you might see a change in the attitude of the police now. Everybody asks the police to go and do customer training and all of that. What training is there for the population? So I went and do customer training, and so my approach is good. So how are you? You're good and good. So,
Right.
what you stop me for? He's a kind of asshole. You have nothing to do. And so then what am I to do at this stage? I stay calm. I say, okay, can I see your driving permit and insurance? I understand that you might be in possession of a firearm in the car, illegal. Do you have a firearm? And I keep on going. And he keeps on attacking. At what stage you think? Am I going to remain professional?
Right.
And then the mothers of the men, the young men, you have a gun, approach me. I come on some senior, do some robbery. I say, hey, police, they point a gun at me, and I shoot in a direction, right? She's asking for justice. What about justice for the victims your son would have interfered with?
Yeah, it's very one-sided.
So you see the scale?
Yeah.
The scale never seems to balance. Every time that it reaches here, something happens this way.
Yeah.
You home in your house. This thing, home invasion taking place. Most of the guys who are involved in the home invasion, they from a particular area. One or two persons will jump in and participate. You go into a man's home, when you see a breach of man's security like that, and you have 6 and 7 men entering your home, you might have a daughter and thing, and these persons come there with intentions to commit offenses. And then you rob, you might rape and get away and go on. You as a man, tall, strong mind and body, you get to understand that it's you was involved in that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place didn't go to. You tell all the police officers and they're not investigating you. You know you have information, blah blah, and you see nothing happen. What are you tempted to do?
Yeah, obviously take the law in my own hands at any cost.
That's where I just told you. That's where law enforcement got to step up the ante to avoid something thinking like. Once that exists,
yes,
that's it. We are in weighty because sooner or later, if we're not careful, we're going to become weighty.
Yeah.
That same kind of attitude on them. Gunshot in the streets. AR-15. We have weapons of war. But a police officer, he might have something.
I've seen some very big guns, not on camera.
Right.
That I don't know how people would get off. Right. Yeah.
And I will tell you this, they're coming through legal ports of entry, right?
Yeah.
And most of the times it's from the great Big Apple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at, you understand how the game is run, you'll see that it's coming from the location. But as again, we could just do so much. Huh?
Yeah.
The population must understand their role. Not because I'm a police officer and I work in your community. If you see something and you're not informing or telling us something about it, I don't want to use the word inform. You're not saying something about it. Then you just have to hold on to it. You wait it too because sooner or later it's going to come home by you.
Yeah.
Then you will understand.
But there's a lot of fear for police as well. Every community I've gone into could tell me on their hand. And again, I don't know the story well enough to blame somebody. Yeah. But everybody can tell me on two hands how many people they know that have died to the police.
Right.
And what they say is why not give them the opportunity in front of a judge? Now, I don't know if they had a gun towards the police. I don't know the story. But this is what I'm hearing over and over and over again.
The exception of a couple incidents that have appeared before a court in Trinidad and Tobago. Most of the shootings from what we see, now I've been a senior police officer, was justified. Exception of it. And those matters were dealt with, and persons are now before the court. Police officers are before the court.
Right.
So, if it is that the police own an operation and you decide to point your gun at me, at what stage you want to negotiate with you?
Right.
Put on your gun, sir. Please. You want a lollipop? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't understand that. This is life and death, and I'm not a second, bro.
Yeah. Maybe not even a second.
Not even a second.
Right.
So it's just a matter of time. Look, a police officer was shot the other day in the bar. You saw
I saw it, yeah. I don't even know how it happened. I watched it so many times I couldn't see the shot.
Right.
It happened so fast.
It happened fast.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's it.
What's with the argument that what people have told me is it's official now as a law that officers are supposed to have a camera on,
right,
but nobody's wearing a camera. So they're saying this is further evidence that the police have something to hide. If there's nothing to hide, why aren't the cameras being used? Do you wear a camera yourself?
Right. No. Let me tell you this. The cameras they are supporting evidence, really.
Yes.
And it being on, you remember, if I leave my camera on and I'm on patrol all day, chances are I'm gonna
die.
But what they are asking you to do is from the time action take place, you have to press
a button, yeah.
Some people get a chance to, some people don't. I know persons who went on certain actions and the camera fell. And all these things. And persons, from the time you hear that, you'll believe that something is wrong, that something sinister happened. But it's not. The reality is, officers need the right equipment.
Right. So I was going to say, if I'm a corrupt officer, I'm never going to push it on. Or I'm going to put it on when the birds are flying by. And
but they are putting it on.
Okay.
One of the things that they
but is it mandatory on their way?
It's mandatory that you put it on.
Yes.
So once you have, and it's working, you put it on. There are some police officers, so they're not charged up right, and they're still putting it on. Because it could save both officer life or
evidence
from allegations.
Yes.
Right? And it also puts a good look on what really took place once the camera picks it up.
Yes. Before I conclude today, and I appreciate your time, is there anything, a lot of people are going to watch this video. Mm-hmm. I've spoken over and over again about the love and the culture in Trinidad all continue to return over and over and over again. I've met so many incredible people on and off camera. Is there anything that you could share with the world about Trinidad outside of the criminal element? Like maybe we can talk about like specifically, are tourists ever hurt? Can you recall the last time a tourist was targeted?
Well, one or two times.
Yeah.
Person might come and one person try to grab a chain or something, a bag. But because law enforcement often put mechanisms in place, the chances of that happening is very slim. And even if it happens, the chances of him being caught is almost 98%.
Yes.
So that has been dealt with. That has been dealt with over the years, so we don't really suffer from that at all. Let me tell you this. No matter what part of the world you live, you want to come to Trinidad for Carnival, right? And you know, for 2 days, people get together, they lime, they party, they flex and everything, and everybody's happy. So you know what we need to do, public? We need to have Carnival all
365
in order to really stop this crazy, because what else? We have persons of different beliefs. But here what I'm asking you, if we're dealing with gangs and different beliefs, who is steering that belief? Who is the person who's generating that belief to influence these fellas to do that? What's that? You dig?
Yeah.
So if, at the end of the day, if we do not get a hold now, or start with them youths there?
Young age, yeah.
Yeah, coming straight up.
That's the time.
That's the time. Because if you can't hold him now,
The old people used to say is to bend the tree while it's young, you know. But when it get old, you can't straighten it back. So right now is the time you have to bend the tree.
Yeah.
community involvement must work.
It takes a community to raise a child.
It takes a whole community to raise a child. And not a parent. Aggressive.
Right.
Because someone tried to correct your child
Right.
when you did not or failed to do it.
I've seen that as a problem. I'm a father of three as well.
Yeah.
Correct. My biggest question before I leave, I had a special request from one of my good friends, Johnny Bravo.
Oh man, let's hear.
He said I can't complete my interview without asking. He said that you're avoiding this boxing match.
No. Let me tell you something. Johnny's a good lad. Eh?
Yeah.
Well, listen. The last time me and Johnny met and we had some hand strengthening.
I saw that. I saw it.
You know what I did?
Yeah.
When I done beat him, I took his ring.
Yeah.
And I felt sorry for the brother. I give him back.
Yeah. So you're not avoiding him?
No. Let me tell you something. Johnny's a good man. But you know what? I can sing this song now, what you might know of before.
Yeah.
Johnny was a good man.
Yeah.
But I have dealt with that.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So Johnny, tell Johnny anytime, you know. Anytime.
Oh, you're telling him now. He's watching you now.
Johnny, anytime, any place.
You're ready. You're big.
But
He's big.
just remember this though.
Yeah.
I hope you're looking at what Tyson is doing. Pay attention, right? The next time, I wouldn't take your ring. I might take out your whole wrist.
Yeah. Uh-oh. That was a friendly.
Yeah. Don't get caught up, man. That's a friendly thing. I wouldn't take down this time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna give it back.
Yeah.
Because you must do things.
I'm not taking sides right now. No. You're both too big for me to get in the middle.
Yeah.
But I appreciate your honesty. Look, nothing was edited.